Hello everyone, this is Johannes and you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and today we are taking a look at this little game here called Minute Realms from designer Stefano Castelli and released by DV Ghiacci. I actually checked it out in Essen after the designer tweeted me and said, go check out this game. I had to do it, of course, and we played it once there. I didn't get a copy when I was in Essen, but I was really happy that the publisher wanted to send me a copy for review, and that is what we are doing right now. So before I spoil anything about what I like about this game and what I maybe don't like about this game, let's get down to the table and see how it plays. In Minute Realms, the point is to get the most points. So, point for points. In this game, you're going to play 8 rounds, and in each round, you're going to acquire a new card. So, basically, at the end of the game, you're going to have 8 cards to score with. So, when it's your turn, you're going to start the turn with the guy with this little castle tower thing. So, the guy who starts every time it's your turn, you're going to have a couple of different options. You can either buy the card that's in front of you. So as you can see with this card, the price is 0, and I would just take this card and put it in front of me, and that would now be my card. As you can see on the bottom of this card, you can see basically what this card does. This card is worth 2 points at the end of the game. It has a green farming icon, and it has a sign here which says it cannot be transformed into a defense tower. I'm going to explain really quickly fast what that is, but let's go over to the next thing you can do. So let's go to the defense tower. If a card does not have this symbol, you can change it into a defense tower by turning it around, and now it's worth 2 defense. And when you do this, you also get 2 money from the bank. That is a way to get more coins so you can buy more cards later in the game. The next thing I can do is to trade away my card. If I don't want my card, I have to trade it with one of the other cards available. All players are going to have one card they can buy privately, and there's also going to be 2 cards here to add more cards and more variety to what cards you can buy and trade. So let's say I'm the first player and I really want this card. Then I can take this card, and when you take a card, when you trade a card, you will take all the things that says on the trade right here. This one has a green coin, that means I will get a coin. If I would have traded with this card up here, I would basically have lost the coin and gained a coin. So the way this works is basically that I have to have a coin to be able to take it, but I don't lose any coins. And the last thing that can happen is that you have this invader symbol. The first time each round when somebody takes an invader symbol, you will move one of these invader tokens down here. And these tokens can be a 0, a 1, or a 2. Those will be hidden and will be shown after the 4th and 8th round of the game. I will get to that soon. If there's no one taking that round, you're just going to move it to the next round when everybody has taken a card. So everybody is going to go around and take a card. Every time you either trade to get a card or take your own, you can choose to buy it or you can choose to do it as a defense tower. Let's see also there's symbols that down there's a couple more symbols. This one, for example, will give you 3 points for each religion symbol you have. And this one will give you, if you have 1 crown and 1 farm symbol, you will get 6 points. That's a little bit out of focus there. I'm sorry for that, but I at least said what it said, so I think there is pretty decent. You will see the symbols. So there's kind of a set collection thing with these symbols in the game. When you come to the 4th round, after you're done with the 4th round, let's say there was an invasion here, and here, and here. And we're ready to do the 5th round, but before that is going to be an invasion. And the way that works is that you're going to turn over all these tiles. Let's say now that is a total of 2. You are going to see what players actually manage to have 2 defense. That's the number of shields. As you see, some cards have a shield, and the other shields are on the defense towers. So, if I manage to have 2 or more, then woohoo, happy me, nothing happens. But if I don't manage to do that, let's say this player had this card and it didn't manage to have enough shields, he will have to destroy one of his buildings, turning it into a defense tower without getting any coins for it. So you basically have to try to balance to have enough that you think, like if people are going heavy into getting this out there and trying to get defense, that's a way of destroying for other players. You will have to try as well to get those defense towers and shields to be able to not lose points for losing the buildings. After the 8th round, let's say we have one here, and nothing more, you are going to have to fight against all of them. So when you're here, end of the game, you're going to turn this over. Let's see. Oh, that's one more only. That's really, really nice. Only 3. So everybody who managed to do that this time actually gets 3 extra points. If you don't manage to do that, you'll lose another building. So it's a bonus for winning at the end, instead of just losing if you don't. Here it's only losing 1 building. And you're going to count out the points that are on the cards, count the points you get for bonus here, and count the points for the different symbols. And that is the end. The player with the most points is the winner. And that is how you play Minute Realms. As you can see, this is a really quick, simple filler game that you can play with almost anybody. And before I say anything else, I have to say I really like this game. Like, I really, really like it. It's like so quick, but I feel like you get so much out of it. Even if it's like a 10-minute game, we play it, I think, with 4 players, you're going to play it with 15 minutes. With 2 players, you can play it in maybe 5 minutes after you've played it a couple of times. Before we go into every details, I'm going to say this is one of my favorite filler games of all time. When we're going to do our top 10 filler games, this is going to be pretty high, I'm pretty sure. I haven't really started working on the list, but I'm pretty sure this is going to rank highly on that list. So let's start with the components as we usually do. The components here are not so much, there's not so much to talk about. Let's just start with this board. It's kind of boring, but I don't really mind because it's simple, it's understandable, and you don't really care about it. You're not going to see this board and be like, wow, this is an amazing component, because it doesn't need to be an amazing component. So I would rather have this clear, nice board, a kind of boring artwork, but it doesn't really matter. It would be really strange to have a lot of artwork and be hard to see what was going on. So other than that, you have the cards. They're big cards. I like that they're big cards. They're okay quality, not the best quality. Some of my cards are a bit off. They're cut a bit off, so actually one of the cards have a white line here. Probably something went wrong with the cutting. It sometimes happens a lot with playing cards, but with these you can see it a lot. I think you're not gonna remember what these cards are. Maybe the one with the white line, but other than that, you won't remember it, and it doesn't really matter so much. So the artwork is good. I enjoy it. It's such a quick game that I don't really have time to sit and devour the artwork, but the artwork is okay. It's good. It works for what it want to do. I don't really feel like it's boring artwork. It's really clear. It's a great piece of art, and then the symbols at the bottom, and it works nice. Like a lot of them gives meaning. Even if you haven't read the rules and haven't played the game, you would basically understand that these 2 things equals 6 points, or trumpets. It's points, but it's trumpet points. And only thing you wouldn't understand without reading the rules is that you can only do this once. But yeah, other than that, like, it's really clear, it's concise. I love these. The good components of this are the coins. They look like candy, so you might want to eat them. You might just want to take them here and actually eat them up. But don't do that. It would be like really horrible to do it. But it's some nice components. It's really good. It just works. It works well. It's clear. Everything is beautifully clear, functional. Thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. That's not a thing I'm going to start doing, like thumbs up. This is a half a thumb. This is a finger up. I'm not going to do that. But it's great components overall. It works well. It's good. So, gameplay, which for me is the most important thing. How does this game plays? And it plays amazing, as I just said. It's so simple. Like, on my turn, I can either buy my card, I can trade it with you, or I can trade it with the cards in the middle, and that's the only thing I can do. And it's so few choices, because there's always going to be like just some cards out on the table, just not many cards at all. Really simple choices, but they work nice. Do you wanna put the invaders in there, or if you see that like somebody else is gearing up a lot of defense and you don't have anything, of course you're going to try to avoid to do that. You're going to try to get the symbols you want. You're going to try to do so the other players don't get a lot of the symbols they want, especially if it's going to give you like 5 points and them like 4 points. You basically just want to take that and make it harder for other people to get points. It's a really nice kind of a drafting game where everything is open all the time, so you know what cards are open this round. Of course, there's some luck in the game, a lot of luck in the game, of course, since it's a card game, but I don't mind for this 10, 15, 20, maybe 30-minute game if you haven't played it before and play with a maximum of players. But it really works nice, and Of course, sometimes you're going to be really lucky, be the first player and get the one card you really need. That's sometimes going to win you the game, but that's how it is in these kind of games. Like, you have to try all the time to get the maximum amount of points. Sometimes you got to think about what you're going to do, and sometimes it just falls in your lap and you're going to be like, yay, I got 6 extra points, boom, boom, boom. I don't know why I did pew, pew, pew. It doesn't really, like, this is a fantasy game, like a pew, pew, pew. That's more like science fiction, so this would be more like a sword, but it doesn't really make a sound like clink, clank, I don't know, clank. I don't know, that's another game. But it really, really works well together. I really enjoy this game. It's a beautiful, short game, and it scales really well. Like, I have played it quite sometimes with 2 players. I wouldn't really recommend playing it with 2. Like, there's so many other games I would rather play when we're just 2 players. But if you, like, you just want to play a game in 5 minutes, you can play this game with 2 players and it's going to work great. And it scales really well, works exactly the same amount of, no, it works really well with all player counts. I would say one thing, though, that we have been thinking about in this is that you take out specific cards for every time you play. The different player counts is taking out different cards to end up with the stack you're going to use. And the thing that happens is that you're going to take out, like, for example, this card has 3 points per religion symbol, and that it makes some of the symbols more available in, or more worth more in the games with more players than with fewer players. I'm really sorry about this rambling. This is what happened when a Norwegian rambles in English. Sometimes my mind goes off and my English just disappears. I'm really sorry for that, people on the internet who speaks English better than me. I'm sorry. But yeah, what I wanted to say is basically, when you haven't played a game before, you don't know these things. If you play the games like a lot of times, you know that, okay, this card with 3 points per religion always comes out, no matter how many players you are. But like other cards comes out only if there are more players. So some of the symbols are better with more players and worse with fewer players. As a minor negative, like, in this, again, it's just a short filler game. I don't really mind, but it can be a problem when you're playing with somebody who knows the game really well and knows, like, these symbols are coming out. I don't have the problem yet, but I just wanted to note that out there. But other than that, the game is amazing. I really enjoy it. I recommend that if you like filler games, if you need more shorter games to play, like, saying it's a filler, there's been some discussions online, like filler is a bad word. I don't think that. Filler is just a small game, and small games can be as amazing as bigger games. This is a game I would gladly pull out and play with both my play group, like in between games, or if you're waiting for somebody, or with new players, because this game is just fantastic. I really recommend it. Like, it hasn't got so much buzz because there's so many games coming out, but this is, of course, for me, the best filler game of last year. This is an amazing game. I really, really recommend that you go out and play Minute Realms. That is my honest opinion. Thank you so much for watching. That's the end of the review. Thank you so much again for watching and supporting my channel, supporting the videos, commenting, liking, being happy, making me happy, because everything online is doing great. Like, it's so much negativity, so I like being in a positive bubble all the time. I like positivity. Positivity is good. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That makes me happy. Every subscriber gives me a smile on my mouth, and that is a good thing to have. So thank you so much for being there. Thank you so much for watching. I am Johannes, and you have been watching Board Gaming Ramblings.